Good morning. Good morning, our friends and followers. It's Devon from the Sea Turtle Hospital at the University of Florida's Whitney Lab. It's Wellness Wednesday. Just wanted to pop on and say hello and thank you so much on behalf of myself and the rest of the staff here at the hospital for all of the very kind words over the sad news that we unfortunately had to share with you all yesterday. It's been very humbling to know that we have such an army of people behind us and helping us with these amazing animals. So thank you so much. Also, thanks to the folks that sent us some things off of our Amazon wish list on behalf of Jacques Cousteau. Thank you guys. Hi, Lana. We're checking in for Wellness Wednesday. I hope everybody is having a beautiful day. It is absolutely gorgeous out. So typically on Wednesdays, we do have our veterinarian here with us, Dr. Burkhalter. She actually is not here today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have breakfast with our patients. Again, it is beautiful outside. So we're gonna take a little, hello Keith, a little cruise by and get our breakfast for our patients. Everybody's in here, everybody's looking good. There's Richard. We're gonna get on that deck in just a minute. There's Eugenie. Everybody is ready for breakfast. Alrighty. So this is our commissary. So this is the room where we have lots of storage. As you can see, it takes it takes a lot to take care of these amazing animals. This room is a very important room at our hospital. This is the room that all of our diets are prepared, and then as well as our task list for our amazing volunteers. And over here, you'll see some pretty familiar names. That's our roll call for the kiddos this morning. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get out on the deck and feed them their breakfast. So, like I said, our veterinarian is here with us once or twice a week, depending on our patient load. And those days are really dedicated to complete exams, surgeries, and other types of procedures. And when those animals come out, we're constantly checking their weight. And then Dr. Burkhalter will actually give orders for their diet. So all of our patients are juvenile green sea turtles. And juvenile green sea turtles are omnivores at this stage in their life. And then they'll actually convert to a herbivore once they've reached maturity and they are adults. So while our patients are here with us, they actually get a variety of seafood. We feed mackerel, herring, shrimp, and squid. And then we also feed them the salad bar, which we like to call it. And it's actually a variety of produce: green leaf, red leaf, romaine, green bell pepper, and cucumber. And there's been a couple of studies that the minerals that are inside that produce is very similar to what they're naturally eating out in the wild, those seagrasses and sea lettuce. We actually do have something really neat that also makes us a little unique. We have a sea lettuce farm that we are actually able to harvest and grow our own sea lettuce, which is wonderful because it's natural for these animals. It's usually what they're first going to turn on to when they first eat. Hi, Aunt Sue. Hi, Christy. And then we offer that throughout their stay with us. So as you can see, Miss Delta right now is eating 54 grams of seafood, and then she gets her gel, which is also pretty unique, as we're able to make a sea turtle specific gel for our patients. And you can see right here, those are some of the ingredients that go into that seafood gel. So that is our gel block, and it's kind of like Jell-O jigglers for sea turtles. All of those seafoods that I just talked about go into that unflavored gel, as well as multivitamins and calcium, trout chow, broccoli, and carrots. And it goes through a food processor, and then we're able to make little individual brownies. So each of our patients get 2 grams, depending on how large they are, whether it's AM or PM, and those are just packed with great nutrition for these animals. So as you can see, Richard's our largest patient. So Richard's actually on 138 grams twice a day. And then don't tell Edward, but she's a little robust. So she's actually getting just greens and then of course her gel, but she doesn't seem to mind it at all. We really try to get these animals off of seafood as we get them ready for release and try to really encourage them to eat what they're naturally eating out in the wild. So this room is where all of our seafood is prepared, and everybody has their own individual little containers. So we have Edward's gel, Delta's seafood, Eugenie's seafood, and then Richard's. And like I said, Richard gets fed 3 times a day because of the amount of seafood that he's on, as well as Eugenie. And then these are our salad bars. So we'll feed those in just a minute. We're going to get them their protein first thing. I'm going to take a little piece of lettuce for Edward to take her medications. We also feed them oral multivitamin and calcium. So we definitely miss our volunteers. They're the ones that are usually in here making sure everybody's diet is nicely prepared for us. All right, we're gonna hop out and go check on our patients this morning. Everybody's definitely ready to eat. I was just out here checking on everybody and cleaning tanks. Everybody seems pretty happy. This Delta. Alrighty. So I'm just going to get everybody set up here. So everybody gets a half of a multivitamin and 1/4 calcium every day. We cut our seafood up in nice little bite-sized pieces so that we can actually put these medications and multivitamin and calcium right in that seafood, kind of like you would do for your dog or your cat. And just like your dog and your cat, sometimes what happens is they'll eat around it and spit it out. But luckily these guys have been on these medications for quite some time now, so they actually take it very well. And you'll get to see in just a minute. Oh good, I'm glad the kids are liking it. We appreciate all of your guys' support. It's been extremely humbling to see all of the people pouring out their support over our sad news yesterday. And then of course having our little Ed Shed kind of available for people to make any type of purchases. We've actually sold well over $1,700 worth of merchandise, which is so amazing. For any of you folks that did purchase some, we'd love to see some pictures. And again, we're gonna hopefully have that available again to you guys this Friday for anyone that might have missed some. Alrighty, almost done. Okie doke. So, we'll start with Miss Delta. Hi, Delta. Delta's doing pretty good. She still has a couple spots on her that are healing from her most recent surgery. Till she is ready to eat. So I just shoved her calcium in that piece of herring, and I'm going to drop it in and kind of step away. So what we do is we really want to make sure that they're getting their orals while we're standing right here, and then the rest of that seafood will broadcast feed to try to lessen any kind of contact while we're feeding them. But we do want to make sure that they get those orals. Those are really important. Good job, Delta. All right, so like I said, those are nice little bite-sized pieces. You can see that gel right there, her squid and her shrimp and herring. They're kind of funny. They're reptiles, but they definitely have their own individual likes. We've had a couple of patients that do not like shrimp, which it's not too normal for them to be eating that out in the wild. but we like to joke and say that they have a shellfish allergy. And then the rest of the seafood, I'm just going to broadcast in her tank so that she'll actually have to dive down and kind of forage on her own to get the rest of it. So Delta's been with us the longest. She came to us at the end of September. And she's actually had about 5 surgeries since she's been with us, but she's doing really, really well. She's healing beautifully. You can see those spots around that left front flipper that's still healing. So Delta came to us on September 30th. She's down from New Smyrna Beach. So probably about an hour south of us. We get animals from all over the state of Florida, but they typically do come from Northeast Florida. We're one of 16, I think, sea turtle hospitals. Delta's a girl. So when these animals get ready for release, we'll actually contact Florida Fish and Wildlife, and they actually let us know where and when these animals have to go back home. So we do try to get to a beach that is a public beach so that we can welcome everybody to their releases, because that's, again, why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing, is to get these animals to safely return back home to their natural environment. But sometimes we don't know the beach, so unfortunately we can't always welcome hundreds of people on the beach with us, but we do try to put every single release on Facebook Live. All right, so now we'll feed Miss Edward. So Edward has been with us since October, and we did not know if Edward was a male or a female when she came to us. So she did get the name Edward Scissorhands. Our theme last year was themes of 4, since it was our 4th year open. So Delta being the 4th letter in the Greek alphabet, and Edward Scissorhands was actually Tim Burton's 4th film. So we kind of got a little crafty with our naming. So Edward was named Edward Scissorhands, and then a few months later we actually were able to scope her like you guys had seen last week, and we found out that Edward is actually a female. So I jokingly called her Edna. But Edward has been with us since October. She is a local. She's right here in St. Augustine. She was actually found at the Conch House. So right in Salt Run. And unfortunately, Edward was fairly buoyant, and she had actually defecated 78 pieces of plastic. All right, so Edward does not get any seafood, but that is okay. She doesn't seem to be too upset about it. I apologize for moving that screen around. So Edward is currently getting some GI mobility drugs. And what we do is we wrap it up in a piece of lettuce, and she does take it really well. So those pouches are on her to try to counterbalance her buoyancy. The goal is to get her at a nice level balance that will keep her from rising her hind end up, and then we'll slowly decrease those weighted pouches to the point where she won't have to wear them, and then we'll take her off of her GI meds and make sure that life is still normal. Good job, Edward. And then we're just going to give her her multivitamin and calcium. Over here. Good job. Okay, and then we'll drop in her gel block, which she didn't see. We'll come back and check her out in just a bit to make sure she got that. And then we're gonna head over to Miss Eugenie. So Eugenie actually has a lot more. She's a little bit of a pill to take her medicine. So we actually take those individual tablets and we cut them in half. And it makes it a lot easier to hide it in a nice chunk of food. So this is Eugenie. She's looking pretty good. You can see those spots right over here. Ooh, sorry, it's gonna not focus. Where we removed some tumors, kind of right underneath her chin and above her left shoulder and then her right armpit area. She probably only has about one more surgery to remove the rest of the little tumors that are on her plastron, and then we'll be able to deem her tumor-free and then closely monitor her in those surgery sites. Make sure everything looks good and heals. She's actually really pretty. She'll come up and say hi. So we have different enrichments in our tanks for our turtles. This is the kelp forest. And then again, I'm gonna shove that piece of antibiotic in there and toss it in. She usually takes a minute to turn on to seafood. But then once she realizes it's in there, she's a little piglet. Thank you, Susan. We are honored to be able to do what we do with these animals. So again, it's Wellness Wednesday. We typically have our veterinarian here with us, but she needed to take a personal day. You can see that spot on the top of her neck that's still healing. She's taking a minute to turn on to food. I might give her a little break and step away and come back. So all of those tanks, you can see the algae build up. That is perfectly okay. We don't use any chlorine or bleach in our systems. It's natural seawater that comes in. It's actually perfectly okay for our patients. It's just not as eye appealing to the humans, but we don't really care about the humans. Good job. All right, we're gonna give her a little bit of a break to think about those pieces that are down in there with her meds. Good job. And then we'll head over to Richard. Hi, Krista. Thanks for tuning in, guys. All right, so this is Richard. Richard's one of our newer patients. He came to us on April 22nd. You guys have got to learn a lot about Richard. He's been kind of the highlight of our Wellness Wednesdays with Dr. Burkhalter. He was a little undecided on his favorite seafood because he took a little bit to really catch on. It usually takes him a little bit, but he's been doing really, really well with it lately. He's over there under the outflow. I'll get in his window in just a second. All right. So there's Richard. He's looking pretty good. We've been closed to the public, and for those of you that know, we're a little bit smaller of a staff. So we were actually able to divide into teams of 2, and we've been rotating 4 on, 4 off. So I've actually, today's my Monday, so it's been really great to take some time away, because when you come back after 4 days, you can really see such an improvement in these animals. So after not seeing him for 4 days, he definitely looks great. His color's coming back. You guys know that he had a lot of marine leech infestation when he came to us with a very low pack cell volume. So he almost looked a little gray, but that color's slowly coming back. Good job, Richard. And again, we got nice little bite-sized pieces of herring that we're able to shove those antibiotics in. And just like your dog and your cat, sometimes they'll eat around it and spit out that pill. But these guys have been really good at taking their orals. If they don't take their orals, we do have the ability to use injectable. Good job, buddy. Richard is looking good. Thank you, Nancy. Like I said, it's really an honor. It's definitely not a job. It's a lifestyle. These animals quickly become your very dedicated patient. I don't want to say children, but it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job, that's for sure. Even when the staff's not here, we're constantly thinking about them and wondering what they're up to and how they're feeling. So you can see Richard's a little bit larger, so his pieces of seafood are a little bit bigger too. Thank you for all of you that are just tuning in. It's Wellness Wednesday here at the Sea Turtle Hospital at the University of Florida Whitney Lab. We typically have our veterinarian, Dr. Brooke, with us on Wednesdays, but she needed to take a personal day today. So you guys get to do the runaround with me this morning and feed these guys some breakfast. So they're green sea turtles. So at this stage in their life, they're omnivores. And then they do convert to a herbivore once they become mature adults. We don't really know when that happens. All right, so Richard just took all his orals. So I'm going to go ahead and broadcast the rest of this seafood for him. And then I'll try to get in his window. And maybe he'll come by and say hi. So you can see Richard's tumors along that right rear flipper area. He has not had surgery yet. We need his red blood cell count to come up. It was a 4 when he came in, and it's slowly creeping up there, which is great. Hi, Ash. Ashley's our other veterinary team, and she's actually on her 4-day weekend. They are like adopted kids, Nancy. So we're gonna let him have some privacy to finish his, and then we'll check back in on Miss Eugenie and see how she did. So Eugenie, I don't think I showed you guys her tank tag, but Eugenie came to us on March 3rd, and you can see she's from Ponce Inlet. So we do typically get a lot of animals down from the Ponce area. There's another sea turtle hospital down there. It's the Marine Science Center, and we do work closely with them with transferring animals. We typically do not keep animals that do not have FP for worry of cross-contamination. And the Volusia Marine Science Center typically don't keep animals that do have it. So if an animal comes to us and we do not notice any tumors on them, we'll actually transfer them down to them. And same thing that goes with them. When they get an animal that does have the tumors, they'll send them to us. So here's Eugenie. Looks like she ate all of that seafood that we tossed in there earlier. And we'll go ahead and toss in the rest. And then we'll get their green feeders out. The green feeders are really fun because it's also an enrichment for these animals. So those green feeders sink down to the bottom of the tank, and then they're able to eat those greens like they would naturally do out in the wild. There's Eugenie looking at that piece of seafood I just threw in. There she goes. Just taking her time, living that sea turtle dream. All right. So again, I'm just gonna broadcast the rest of this seafood, and then we'll give her her space and let her finish her breakfast. All right, let's go get those green feeders. I'm gonna try not to Blair Witch and make you guys all sick, maybe if I flip it around. Thank you guys so much for checking in. Hi, Johanna. Beautiful St. Augustine. Hope everybody's doing really well. All right. So we have our green feeders, and I'm just gonna pull these out. Ooh. Alrighty. Okay, so we have a full green feeder, which is usually 2 pieces of cucumber, 2 pieces of green bell pepper, and 6 leaves of lettuce. We get this produce donated to us from the St. Augustine Alligator Farm, which is really amazing. We appreciate them so much. Go visit them. They're actually open to the public, which is great. They're outside, so social distancing is easy. And then this is a half green feeder. So 1 piece of cucumber. Hey, Liam! 1 piece of green bell pepper. And then our 3 leaves of lettuce. So when our animals typically first come to us, they're not too sure about produce. So it does usually take them a little bit to turn on to that. So we try to lessen our waste and only offer half feeders to the ones that aren't really eating their greens yet. And that would be Richard and Eugenie. So they're not going to really eat theirs. But Delta and Edward love their greens. So I'm actually going to just drop these in with you guys. Again, sorry for walking around. Hopefully no one's getting nauseous. All right. Okie doke. So again, this is great because it's like a enrichment for our turtles. I'm just going to gently place that in, and it's going to sink to the bottom. And just like these animals would naturally eat those greens in the wild off of the bottom of the intercoastal or docks and boats, and Edward's going to display, show off how they eat their greens. And then Miss Delta. Hi, little one. No, you're not getting any more seafood. Turtle butts drive me nuts. Boop, boop. So depending on how much seafood they get will depend on how we spread it out throughout the day. So Delta getting 54 grams of seafood a day. We do feed her 1 time in the morning, and then they get their green feeder. And then throughout the day, we're throwing in little handfuls of the natural sea lettuce for them. And I'll go grab the other 2 green feeders. Our little salad bars. All right. Delta's thinking about it. She's holding out for more seafood. You're not getting any more. All right, and Richard. So Richard and Eugenie aren't really interested in their green feeders just yet, but we do still give them because they'll start to investigate and then hopefully start to sample them. Eugenie really likes her whole. And then those green feeders will stay down throughout the day. And then we'll pick them up at the end of the day and clean them off and get ready for tomorrow. See our little piglet over here. Almost done. So again, thank you all for so much support. Especially with that sad news that we had to share yesterday about Jacques Cousteau. Thank you to the folks that actually purchased some items off our Amazon wish list in Cousteau's honor. That was really sweet. It definitely takes a village, and we are very grateful that we have an amazing one. Especially people all over the world. We have people checking in from New Jersey and Vegas, Ireland. Hi, Dad. My dad in Connecticut. There's Delta. Thinking about eating her greens. I'm good, Dad. Sending you some sunshine. You guys need it. There's Richard. So we just fed everybody breakfast. You can see Richard's picking up the last of the scraps in his tank. He actually will get fed twice again. He's on 138 grams 3 times a day. You can see those tumors. Hopefully his red blood cell count's improving still, and we can move forward with surgery soon. Yay! I'm glad you like your new shirt. Definitely take pictures of yourselves with those t-shirts and send them over. We'd love to see them. We've gotten so much support with online sales. It's extremely humbling knowing that so many people want to help support us, because it definitely takes a village to keep these animals well cared for. And we definitely look forward to hopefully welcoming our volunteers back soon, and then opening to the public for those public tours that we have. Hi, Milton. Eugenie. Just relaxing after breakfast. And then we'll do one more round of Delta and Edward, and then I'm gonna sign off. Good job, Delta. No. And then Edward's still finishing the greens. Krista, I can absolutely get you one today. We'll talk after this. Yes, we do have leatherbacks. I actually got some really exciting news. Our turtle friends up at Michler's landing in Ponte Vedra had 2 nests yesterday. They had a loggerhead and a leatherback. So pretty exciting. Bye, Dad. Thanks for checking in. But we typically have leatherbacks, loggerheads, and green turtles that nest on our coast. And then every once in a while, we will get a Kemp's, which is pretty exciting. Those animals actually nest during the day. Yep, Jen, we got the word that you guys got 2 nests yesterday. That's really awesome. Those mama turtles are coming in. All right, well, again, guys, thank you so much for the continued support and checking in with us on Wellness Wednesday. We look forward to talking to you guys again soon. And for those that are interested in any of our merchandise, if you want to go ahead and send us a PM on our Facebook page, we can definitely get that out to you. And we will talk to you guys next Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday. Thanks again.